Right, so I've got my cart back from my buddies, and they've welded that flexi pipe in for me, and they've also shot blasted it for no reason, but so now I'm going to have to give it a lick of paint before I put it on. Now, so I've got my ECU back finally from ECU testing. So they say that they couldn't find a fault with it at the time of testing, but I don't actually know how long they test them for. But anyway, I know that's definitely a fault. After all the testing I did, it took me back there, and I have a spare ECU kit here for that thing, and if I put that on, everything works fine. So I know that it's the ECU. The reason that I don't use the other ECU kit is because it's got a misfire on the ECU, and also I don't know the history of it. I think it's got a map on it, and I don't want to be running any maps. I just want it standard. So we agreed that they would rebuild this anyway, so I'm hoping that when I put it on, everything works perfectly. So we're going to find out. This ECU back on, battery connected. Now I'll know if it's fixed or the same, because when I put the ignition on, if the coolant fan doesn't come on, then that's a good start. But if it comes on straight away, then we'll know it's not any different. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, I wouldn't say that was rebuilt, so I'll have to go and phone them. Right, so I spoke to ECU testing, gave them a ring, told them, or asked them what they had done. They told me that when they tested it, they couldn't find any faults, or their words were, there was no faults at the time of testing. I think they test them for 15 to 20 minutes, but these faults are instant. These are hard faults. So it's not like they you have to wait for the engine to get up to operating temperature and then things start happening. This is instantaneous. These are hard stored faults in the ECU. Anyway, so when they phoned me about it, they did say they couldn't find any faults at the time of testing, which is fair enough. But then they gave me the option. They said, we can either send it back to you for the testing fee, or we can rebuild it. And I said rebuild it, because that's obviously what the fault is. So that was the deal. They rebuilt it and sent it back, but it's got exactly the same faults and exactly the same fault codes. So when I phoned them, I told them the story. I asked them what they rebuilt. They couldn't really give me an answer. So I told them that they haven't done anything to it. So after a bit of back and forth and sent through to the engineers, they obviously thought that I might have been just Joe Bloggs faffing about with his car at home or whatever, but I told them that we're a business here. And I've tested everything. I told them that we have a spare ECU kit here that we use, and everything works perfect. Although this ECU has other faults. It's got an ABS fault. That doesn't matter. But everything else works fine. So yeah, it's pretty confident that it's the ECU at fault. So again, the engineer guy who rebuilt it couldn't tell me what he replaced. So I don't know how difficult it is just to say what you replaced, but obviously he didn't replace anything. He just glued it back together and sent it out. So they've agreed to take it back, collect it, and have another look at it. But I think I've said it in videos before. You know, it's just it's just the standards of people nowadays. I know not everyone's like that, but it seems to be up my way anyway. I just can't find anyone to do anything properly in any trade, not just the motor trade, just any trade. It's frustrating, but there's no point in getting too angry about it. Spent a lot of years getting angry at people that can't do things properly in companies, which is why I work for myself now. But yeah, it's just I don't know what to say. So hopefully they'll sort it properly this time, or say they can't sort it. That's the other thing. If you can't do it, then just say you can't do it. Don't lead people on saying you can do it and then faffing about and taking the money off them, and then them not being any better off, or wasting time. That's the other thing that annoys me, time wasting. If you can't do it, just say you can't do it, and then I can move on to someone else, instead of waiting days and weeks and months and then you're still not being able to do it. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here again. I'm getting angry about something that's not even there. So we'll see what happens when it comes back, but yeah, it's a bit annoying. Anyway, so apart from that, the car's back together. The head's on, obviously. I had a bit of a snag with the turbo. That's sorted. I've taken it out for a spin with the other ECU. It pulls well. It's absolutely spot on. I can't fault it. The only thing is the air conditioning. It's got the same fault as the Astra van. The air conditioning fan sees solid. In fact, I've got it here. So I've been trying to split it, but it's just, I've managed to get it moving like that. But it's just solid. It's done. So I've ordered I used one of these. But I don't know if I'll use it in the GSI or the Astra van yet. So maybe get that sorted, and this is just all the spares that I'm just rebuilding. I'm sort of tidying up all the old spares, Z20 let parts, cleaning them up, powder coated. These are sensors and these are just all painted parts, so I can get this area up here cleared. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the ECU kit, because I would like it sorted properly. I just hate fault lights on the dash, but most importantly with this fault is that ECU's the temperature gauge and the rev counter doesn't work, and the fans come on all the time. So it's also got a coolant fault, and it's not. If you've watched the other videos, you'll know it's not the coolant module or anything like that. The wire and loom was all tested when I was putting the engine back together, rewrapped. The other thing that those engines have a fault with the similar thing is earth points in the loom, but they're all done. It's definitely not that, and it's obviously not that because with the other ECU everything's fine, as I say, so it's got to be the ECU. But I would like it sorted because there's a few car shows coming up. There's a few outings that I want to get out and about in this car and enjoy it, or use it at least a couple of times. I just need to, I've had the cat all welded up, not the cat, the flexi pipe, which is part of the cat. So I want to get it back down and get it tested. It'll pass its MOT now. The only thing it failed on was emissions. That's because the flexi pipe was leaking, so the lambda was out. So it'll be fine. But I just need the ECU back so I can get it back on the road. Anyway, enough waffling. Right, so I've just put the new AC fan on. They're all plugged in and stuff. Like I say, that one spins perfect, works perfect. So, in theory, that should wipe all of the fault codes in the coolant module, and the little coolant light should go out on the dash, in theory. So I've got the Voxcom just in case I need to reset it, but hopefully it should just go out itself. This car's challenged me all the way so far, so I don't expect anything different. So yeah, this light, the little radiator light at the top, that's the one that's on the Astra van as well, and it has the same fault. The AC fan is seized. So I might have to reset, but we'll just fire up and see what happens. Hopefully it goes out. Brilliant. I'll come back on neither. Super. So yeah, that sorts that. I just need to get another one for the Astra van probably, and that'll sort that problem out as well. But this isn't this is the spare ECU, so you can see the rev counter works, the temperature gauge works. This one's got an ABS fault on it. It's a no comms with the ABS pump, but it's nothing to do with the ABS pump, it's a fault on the ECU. It's also got a slight miss. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm sure there's a map on this. And I'm sure I had issues with this when it was on the 5-door turbo. So yeah, I won't worry about it, it's just a spare one to use. So just a quick note on that coolant light. I see guys on the internet arguing with each other that it's the sensor in the bottom of the coolant expansion bottle, the coolant module, this, that and the other. I don't know why people still guess stuff yet. I mean, it's near impossible to diagnose a fault with a car unless you've got diagnostics. But if you've got that fault light, just go out to the AC fan, and if you can't turn it, if it's C-solid, then that's needing sorted. That's probably one of the reasons, if not the only reason, but it's probably one of the reasons that your coolant light's on. And it's happened many times over the years with these Mark IVs, and people never look at that because I guess people that have Mark IVs, they don't really use the AC, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, if one thing doesn't work, then it's going to throw up a fault light, whether you use it or not. So just go outside and try and spin your AC fan. If you can't spin it, get yourself another one, because that'll be one of the faults. That'll be one of the reasons your light's on. Don't listen to them and the experts. Listen to the guys that are amongst them all the time. It's another rant again. Alright, so ECU testing have phoned me back. They've said that the ECU is beyond repair. So I guess some other technicians had a look at it and said what they've said is the repair that they did on it the first time hasn't held up, but that's not what the last engineer said. It doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there. The excuse anyway. What they're saying is that the ECU's it's beyond repairable. Right, so I've got my ECU back from ECU testing. It's obviously not repairable, but we'll just keep it for spares for testing other things. So apart from that, I've had a few little snags along the way. So the turbo oil return pipe here was constantly leaking from the banjo here, and there was a little leak on the top of the where it attaches on the turbo. But I've had to replace this pipe because the original one was so pitted on the sealing surfaces that it just leaked all the time. Didn't matter what I did to get it to stop leaking, it just leaked. So I've replaced this pipe, and that seems to have solved it, which is good. Because after having cleaned all this in earlier episodes and replaced what needed to be replaced and painted it up, it's just leaked oil and coolant from stupid places ever since and made a right mess of the paintwork, so it doesn't look as clean as it once did, which is quite annoying. So I think I've got all the leaks sorted now. I've got the cap back on, and because this thing likes to be difficult, the pre-cat started leaking at one of the little welds up here. You can't really see it, but there's a cover, a heat shield cover that goes around it originally, and it's broken off, and all that holds that heat shield cover on is a couple of spot welds. So when it's broken off, it's actually cracked a little bit, and so it's been fluffing there, which definitely won't help with the lambda readings on the emissions test. So I put a couple of spot welds in, but it wasn't easy because there's just no space to get in there. So it's running, the leaks seem to be okay so far. You can hear the mist. It's annoying. It's more disasters. Just the way to MOT this Astra. I took it for a spin, and one of the coolant hoses at the back's burst now. Oh god, it's never ending. That means I'm gonna have to put another one of them stupid blue hoses on there. God damn it. Right, so we're back back from the MOT test. It's all good. Got a pass certificate here. Brilliant. So the emissions are all good. With 0.4 on the CO. The lamp is well within spec. The only worrying thing is the idle speed. The natural idle test was close. 0.30. Oh, there it is. There is the max. So that is probably just a faulty O2 sensor, or not faulty, but maybe one that's dirty or on its way out. I'm gonna go with dirty because it's been sitting for a year and not doing anything. So we'll give it a couple of runs soon. I do actually have I don't know if I said I bought an emissions tester, an older one from a buddy who has the garage, the MOT garage. I bought his old MOT testing machine, but it's gonna get updated, so I haven't got it yet, but I should have it at some point this year. It's no great hurry, but it'd be handy, be very handy, because like I say, a lot of the motors I do are old Vauxhalls, and yeah, emissions is always the issue, so that would be handy. So it's all good, but I'm on the way back. I smell oil again, the dreaded oil smell in the cabin, and it's a bloody oil return pipe off the turbo again. So I've cleaned it all down. It looks like it's leaking from between the turbo and the manifold, which isn't good. So probably need a new turbo. It's the problem when you start taking things to bits on old cars. It's just everything needs replaced. A bit like that turbo coolant pipe bursting earlier on. Just all the rubber pipes will be done. Just past their best. I suppose the car's about 20 years old or so now, so nothing lasts forever. So there's plenty to do on this thing. Bodywork being the main one. But I'm going to go and use it for a couple of trips while it's nice, and then I don't know, decide what I'm doing, tuck it around the back again.